My analysis might have been different. My critique might have been different. My insight might have been different. You want to bring a surgically altered male to the conversation? No worries, because intellectually, nobody can handle me. Intellectually, nobody can handle me. So if you want to bring a surgically altered male, no disrespect, but don't you think you have a right to tell me? Do your guests have a right to be informed? You know, that's all I'm saying. Don't have me thinking I'm talking to a woman. Don't have me thinking I'm talking to a woman. Don't have me think I'm talking to a woman and I'm having a conversation with a surgically altered male. That's all. No disrespect. Just let me know. Hope Giselle, I ain't got nothing against you, bruh. Hope Giselle, I ain't got nothing against you, bruh. Hope Giselle, I ain't got nothing against you, bruh. I'm simply saying I had a right to know. That's all. I'm not going to disrespect you.
What's up, Jerome?
Hey, how are you?
Tired.
Listen, you and me both. There's so many things to unpack, but I just want to start with like how this situation started, just so there's clarity, because I've heard your perspective a little bit. I came in on part of it, and I saw like some of the comments and stuff like that. So, first of all, the topic had nothing to do with trans of the show. Nothing to do with trans at all. We didn't even talk about nothing dealing with trans at all. The reason why I even brought up Hope's name to be a guest on the show is because I wanted some people who had experiences with men, whether it was good, bad, indifferent, not just relationships, working, education, in the community, whatever it is, right? And so also, I know that Hope must be exhausted talking about trans topics. So I'm like, this is not a trans show, so let's invite Hope. And so that's what I did. And for the people who don't know me, one of my jobs that I do, and I'm intentional about it, is making sure that Black and or queer people have a platform, they're part of the conversations. I do it all the time. So conversation went on, and I reached out to Hope, and I also let you know, like, hey, just want to let you know, just so you're not surprised, that Dr. Umar is going to be on the show. And I said that only because I know some of his rhetoric, how he gets down. I didn't want you to be in a space and feel unsafe. And so when the show happened, like, it went off without a hitch. There was no concerns until after. So I guess what happens, and I don't know what happened, but what I'm assuming what happened is that he probably Googled you and was like, who is this smart girl who's really getting me together, who is throwing me under the, like, who's really letting me have it? And so he Googled you, and then once he found out your experience, he felt bamboozled. And so once I seen his post, I immediately reached out to like Tammy and the production team. I'm like, look at what he's saying. He thinks that we should disclose people's transness or whatever it is before they on the show. We're not ever going to do that, right? And so Tammy said, you know, I'm not apologizing to him. I stand with Hope. I support Hope. We did nothing wrong. Blah, blah, this, blah, blah, that, another. So I reached out to you. I apologized, checked on you, let you know what Tammy said, and that was pretty much it. But from what I'm assuming what happened is, because we do many shows, I've worked on several shows, what happened from my perspective is that they saw your reply. And in your reply, you said something to the effect of like, hi, I got you, I didn't know. And they were really triggered by that. And so that took that conversation of them just being triggered and going back and forth to a whole nother level, which ultimately has nothing to do with us. Because typically what happens is people go back and forth, post these shows because they are debate shows. And we can't check on everybody. We don't know all the going on, but we just don't know. And so when I seen some of the back and forth going on, I told my team about that, this and other, and that was it. We didn't do a part 2 of that show. We did a completely different show about trans and disclosure just because that was just a topic. And just so happens that because Dr. Umar felt that he should have been, that you should have disclosed, we was like, Let's invite some trans people on the show. Let's invite some people with different perspectives. And then they said, like, because Tammy really wants to address Dr. Umar. And so they was like, let's invite Hope back. Da, 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 da. And I'm like, no, because she doesn't, I'm pretty sure she doesn't want to talk about trans topics. And so we were not going to invite you back. I told them no. But what happened is I heard that they was invited one of the previous guests back. And I'm like, we can't invite a previous guest back to talk about that incident and then Hope not have, you know, a response or a say so or whatever. So I'm like, if you reach out to her, if she wants to do it, maybe get some her perspective, a video or whatever it is, because it just would seem unfair. And so ultimately, that's what happened, and that's what's it. That's all. And so there's like this narrative, like read in some of the comments and stuff like that, that we like, you know, trying to get ratings and views and stuff like that. Whether we have 1 million views on the episode or 1,000 views on the episodes, our contracts stay the same. And I know you said that you wanted the video to be removed. I can ask them to remove the video. But in reality, and this is just how I feel, my perspective, is that these kind of conversations goes on in real life. People have these real perspectives, whether we agree with them or not, and it's just a real conversation. And some of the episodes I've seen, I'm like, these people are really crazy, really insane, but people think like them. So people need to hear these conversations and, you know, just have that experience. So that's strictly what happened. I don't know what else to say, but yeah, those just the viewpoints of what happened.
Okay.
Yeah, I just want to, you know, get that clear and you make that clear. Like nothing is like a setup or intentional or anything like that. It's just it's part of the show, and what people do afterwards. Just like they felt that, you know, like they felt that we should have been on you or talked to you about some of the stuff you did. Like we just don't get into that because we'll be into that all the time.
Okay. When it comes down to it, I feel like I hear what you're saying, but it also feels like there is a piece missing about the fact that regardless of whether I have made a response or not, the match that was struck was the episode. I could have done nothing like I've been doing since that video, and there are still videos coming out. I wasn't even a part of this part 2, and there are still videos that people are using to talk about me, to talk about the part 2 that I was not even in. And all of this stuff is stemming from this initial video. And my whole thing is, when it comes down to it, like I just said, when we support someone and when we're open and honest about not supporting something as simple as bigotry, we need to be able to stand on that the same way that we stand on the rest of our programming and on a network that literally has a show that features T.S. Madison. The fact that I don't think I've seen, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think I've seen a public apology or display, because I did not watch part 2. And yes, it was a part 2. It may not have been pitched that way to you, Jerome, but when Avi called me, Avi said, it's not on paper, but it is definitely a continuation of the conversation that y'all had.
Hi, you guys. So I think I have a video up on this as well. When was it, like a month or maybe 2 months ago? Tammy Mack of Fox Soul hosted a panel discussion about black men, or black men oppressed, or, you know, are they in a war in America, right? It was something along those lines. And Cynthia G was on the panel. Hope Giselle was on the panel. And I forget the other gentleman's name. And of course, Dr. Umar. Now, I was already familiar with Hope before this. And so I'm kind of thinking like some of these people, I thought they would have been familiar with her as well. She is someone who uses her voice, right? And So I would think they would have been familiar with her. However, as you can hear from Dr. Umar's statement, he did not know that she was a trans woman. And his argument is that he and the other gentleman should have been informed that Hope was on this panel. And I do agree with Hope that I don't think that they had to inform them of that, because the conversation was about the Black community, which we are all a part of. And so you shouldn't even concern yourself with anything other than having a discussion about us collective, as a collective. And that would include the LGBT, the Black LGBT community as well, right? And so I do agree with her on that. Now, where I do kind of get a little side-eyed, because her conversation is much longer than what you hear in this video. If you guys want to hear, that happens every time I get ready to record. But if you guys want to hear her full conversation, go to her Instagram and you can hear, I think it's part 1 and part 2, and you can hear the full discussion, because she also brings up Cynthia G, and she says that Cynthia G did not take up for her, or, I don't know what she was expecting from Cynthia G. But here's my thing. This is how I feel about it. A lot of commentary was created around that panel discussion. A lot of people attacked Cynthia G. Not only was it a plethora of Black men, but then there were some women who were attacking her as well. So did you cape up and speak up for her? I think that we can't expect things from people that we're not given to them. So I don't necessarily agree that Cynthia had to come out and hold some, create a video around what Dr. Umar said about Hope. I think you are capable of defending yourself. I mean, she's definitely trying to get Fox Soul to do whatever it is that she's asking Jerome to, take back to Fox Soul. But yeah, that's just my feeling on that. I feel like, you have to give Cynthia that same support. Like, it's not the Black woman's job to carry anyone's cross. Like, you guys have to support us as much as you want the support in return. And that's just how I feel about that. And I do feel like she could have reached out to Cynthia and said, look, I want to hold a discussion. It could be me and you and maybe Tammy Mack or whoever else. And we discuss what Dr. Umar is saying, and then you guys could have had an open discussion about it that way, if they were available. However, like I said, for Cynthia on her own to think, let me go out here and throw my cape on because he's attacking Hope, she's getting attacked as well. She got a lot of commentary was created around, like I said, that video, and mainly about Cynthia. So it's a little unfair for her to feel that Dr. Umar said what he said, which, let me know what you guys think. Do you think that Fox Soul should have informed the two gentlemen on this panel that Hope was a trans woman? I don't agree with that, but let me know what you guys think if you do. I mean, and why. Do you think Cynthia should have went live and spoke up for Hope when she heard this video from Dr. Umar? Let me know what you guys think on that as well. And do you think that Fox Soul should take the video down? Do you think Fox Soul did something wrong by not informing them? Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you guys in the next video.